Hello and welcome back to my workshop again. It's been quite a long time. I've been busy doing part-time work at a couple of universities, and while that's taken up a lot of work, it gives me some money to buy some more tools and equipment, which will be really good. So you can see I'm progressing on scraping the ram on the Metal Shaper, but that is going to be quite a bit of work. So I would say I'm becoming more familiar with metal scraping. So what I mean by more familiar, I'm not sure how much I'm improving, but I know, for example, now when the scraping iron is blunt, which is a good thing to know. And you can see the red part marked on the way down there and the red part on the other side there. They indicate to me that my 1 metre reference, scraped reference, is a little bit shorter than the ram. So when I get a bit closer to being finished, I'll scrape those little 40 millimetre areas flat with the rest of it. So I've decided the key thing with metal scraping is to be able to measure the accuracy of scraping. So I've been re-watching Metal Shaper scraping videos from Look Creations, where the fellow there doing that is called Matt. Matt was using a surface plate which is a little bit shorter than his ram, and he really wished he could get a surface plate that was a little bit longer. I found a company up in Brisbane that is selling a cast iron surface plate and table that's 1.2 metres long, so it'll be just a touch longer than this ram. And with such a big 1.2 metre surface plate, I'll be able to use the machine surface on where I'm pointing to on the underside there, which is the clamping area, and I'll be able to use that as reference surface and then be able to measure very accurately the amount of scraping I've done and the amount of scraping that's got to be done. So at the moment I've really just done some roughing scraping, and I think the shape I've got on there is a incline. So the this end here is the end that doesn't have the wear, and this end here is clearly the end that does have the wear. Now I imagine there'll be something like 8 thousandths or so of incline between one end to the other. So being able to get a large surface plate and use a surface gauge, I'll be able to measure exactly how much I need to take down on this end, and I'll be able to get the ways back to an accurate flatness so that there's no longer any incline on them. So this is what I've been thinking of, and I think I'll be ordering the large surface plate towards the end of this coming week. So that will allow my shaping to start aiming for accuracy. And then of course, once I have this ram properly shaped, I have to go and shape or scrape the ways that these run on. And I've been watching this quite closely. Let's see what we can see here. There's still a little bit of scoring evident, but the scoring is much improved with the scraping that I've done so far. So the ways that these run on have even more scoring. So there will be a bit of scraping needed there to remove the scoring. So scraping to remove the scoring and shaping to restore the flatness. When I get this ram as close to perfectly flat as I can, then I'll be able to use this ram to mark the corresponding ways to see where the high spots are and where the scraping is needed. Now also I've been looking at things like biax scrapers, and they are, to tell the truth, hideously expensive, and I think I will keep going with my Armstrong scraper. I can feel the muscles in my arm developing, which is a good thing, and I guess that's inevitable if I keep on doing the scraping. So I've gone from absolute beginner to probably just being a bit of a beginner, but I'm making a bit of progress, and that is a good thing. You can see on the ground here I put some pieces of wood to lift me up, because the length of the scraper is quite a long scraper, so I needed to be a bit higher to be able to use the length of the scraper effectively. And of course I've got myself a whetstone from China, 2 grades, I think it's 240 and 400. So I've been rubbing the ways down after I've scraped them with the 240 side of the stone. And over here we have the reference that I'm applying the bluing on. So that has been working pretty well, I would say. I'm now quite aware of when I've applied too much blue, and I'm probably aware of when there's not quite enough blue. So yeah, it's good to see things are moving forward in respect to scraping, and I also understand it probably doesn't make the most exciting video. Over here we've got the hand-powered drill, probably early 20th century, late 1900s. At the moment it's waiting for a friend to come around and give me a hand to mount it up on the wall in the other workshop. Here we have a 300mm square surface plate that is a new addition, and I've been using that to examine the coplanar nature. So essentially working out that the ways are at the same height on the ram that I've been scraping, and at the moment it's telling me they're not at the same height. It's not too surprising because I've only started working on the second way in the last couple of weeks. So I think that's about all for now. So I'll be back probably when I've got the large surface plate, and we'll have an update then. So thanks for watching, and see you later.